Monday. First alternative income keyword of the day coming up just after 6 o'clock. And then, of course, like I mentioned, all day, Beach Life Festival, 3-day passes for you to win. That's every hour, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. today here on Alt.
And then they come in here with some insane story about stuffed animals and penis blisters and being in plastic Tupperware, and you expect me to believe a word of it? Well, I don't, and I never will. Yeah.
The Woody Show.
Yeah, that woman kind of reminds me of this person who's on the text. Says, here we go again. That song about the Discovery Channel, where he says, your hand down his pants, and I bet you'll feel nuts. How embarrassing. You guys are done. Why are you doing this?
Huh? Oh, Bloodhound Gang?
That song's been out for like 20 years.
Yeah,
at least.
And I didn't know where that was coming from because we didn't play that song, and it's a person who's listening on the stream. Here's the thing. If you're streaming the radio station and we go to commercial break, the system automatically will put songs and things in there to fill that time.
Right.
With whatever.
We can't, for whatever dumb legal reason, we can't stream all the commercials that we're playing on the FM over the stream. It's so dumb.
So dumb.
But what they do is they do this replacement audio based on how much time. And so whatever song you hear in the commercial break, just know we don't control that.
Yeah,
There's
sorry.
plenty of songs that get played. I thought you were never going to play this song again. Well, if
Guess
I had
what?
the control over it, we wouldn't. But
And I
yes,
guarantee
that's what's
you,
going on there.
the people behind the Phil songs
Yeah.
are never changing those things out. So that's
No,
probably why
it's
they're
just-
complaining.
They have just a bunch of songs in there, and
Yeah.
it's all organized by time, and the system automatically
Yeah.
pulls a song based on however many minutes and seconds are left.
And that's why they keep on hearing the
Just a
same
little behind the scenes, so you know how it's working. If you feel like you're hearing the same songs and whatever,
Yeah.
that's why.
Not our fault.
song.
Yeah, we don't control it.
Not getting.
We
You're
don't.
done?
Yeah, we
All
don't.
right.
control
Bye,
it.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Done.
Yeah, that people draw their line at pretty
Very,
curious
very
places.
strange.
We do have a round of the Crossroads coming up for you
Oh,
tomorrow.
no.
So that's just where they drew their line.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
that'll be it for them.
For others,
Bloodhound
it's
Gang.
other things. Gina Grad, trending news headlines today.
Yes, the Pope's funeral wrapped up over the weekend. He's buried at the Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome, not the Vatican, which is a big deal since it's the first time in over 100 years a Pope has been laid to rest outside Vatican City. The tomb opened to the public yesterday. Thousands of people came to pay their respects. Thousands more still waiting in line. And his tomb is really simple, just the Latin word Franciscus, a crucifix, a single white rose. Pope Francis' funeral was massive, more than 250,000 people attending, including leaders from around the world. And as we mentioned before, the next step is the conclave. That's where the cardinals get together, pick the next pope. That's expected to kick off May 5th, 1 week from today, and a wrap on around May 10th.
Now,
That takes
is
a
it
while.
me? But I thought the 250,000 was kind of low.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it'd be way bigger. There's a lot of Catholics out there.
I know.
Also,
I
I
think
mean,
the Pope funeral stuff's on its way out. You know,
right?
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
no,
not in.
they were
Trendy
showing
last year.
They were showing the streets, and it looked kind of empty. I'm like,
Yeah.
150,000 people showed up for the NFL draft, and this is the Pope.
I'll be
right?
happy if anybody shows up to my funeral.
Same.
You know,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like the end
same.
of every Dateline. They're like, and the place was packed. People were waiting outside. I'm like, that ain't going to be me.
yeah. I've thought. Have you ever thought about that? Like,
Of course.
yeah, like who?
Obsess
Obviously.
about it.
Like, of all the people you know, who do you think will definitely show up? Assuming they're still alive.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
the trick.
And see, that's the thing.
That's why you got to
Yeah.
die before them. See?
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
Get all
there.
the glory.
Otherwise,
Always
it'll
think
be a
about
very
that.
cheap luncheon afterwards. It'll be party of 4. Your table's available.
I know it's dark, but do you think of like some family members? You're like, oh man, who am I even going to invite?
To your funeral?
No, not for my own, but to theirs.
Oh, to
Yeah.
theirs. Yeah, I don't know.
If-
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you mentioned the draft, and speaking of that, it is done. Things wrapped up over the weekend in Green Bay with plenty of drama. Friday night was a roller coaster. The Seahawks finally remembered they needed a quarterback, snagged Alabama's Jalen Milroe. But the big story was how Shedeur Sanders, once hyped as a first rounder,
Oh,
kept
there was so much Schadenfreude.
sliding. Oh, yeah, like a greased pig at the county fair. But on Saturday, the Cleveland Browns had picked number 144. They took Shedeur.
Oh,
Wow.
dude, I loved it. I loved every minute of the fact that he was sitting around waiting. I loved the prank.
Did you?
Okay, can we
The prank
talk
call.
about the prank,
That was
please?
Yeah.
a dick move.
Okay,
He
let me
did?
let me
I
go.
did. I'm
That's
honest
so
to God.
mean.
He deserves it.
Let me go over what happened.
He deserves
Everyone
it.
might not know. So he got this prank call from someone impersonating the GM of the New Orleans Saints, told him they were taking him in their next pick.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah, I have audio.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
It's been a long wait, man.
No, for sure.
We're gonna take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Let's be legendary.
But you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Ready to go. What does that mean?
How you gonna ask us what it means and you was on the phone?
You heard that?
You said you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Nobody got this number though.
Man, he just got trolled, bro. They tripping now, fam. Now I'm finna crash out, bro.
You crashed out, bro.
Well, at least he realized it was a troll like immediately.
Yeah, he wasn't waiting around.
I love it.
I saw him do like a little interview about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know how they got the number because the only
we know."
I'll tell you.
Oh, you found out?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
And also a GM that sounds like he's 19 years
I know,
old.
right?
Like his voice is cracking.
Super
He
casual.
didn't sound 19.
Oh, he sounded super
yeah,
young.
he
He
sounded
sounded young.
All right, well, here's what happened. So this guy ended up being the 21-year-old son of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator.
Oh, that guy's
He'd
so in
gotten
trouble.
Sanders' contact info from an unattended iPad at his parents' home. So yeah, he's in big trouble. He publicly apologized, said his actions were inexcusable and childish. The Falcons confirmed that the coach was unaware that anything happened. He also apologized to Sanders and his family. Overall, the teams that were given the best draft grades were Seattle, Philly, New England, Arizona, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville. Teams with the worst, the Lions and San Francisco. Everyone else somewhere in the middle. So yeah, they grabbed Daddy's iPad.
Took the number.
If he wasn't
mad
such a
would you
cocky,
be?
entitled prick, like I'd be like,
I
oh,
agree
that's
with-
mean.
I agree
but
with
the
that
fact
part.
he's an egomaniac. He hasn't done nothing.
Right, but still.
All his stats are against garbage teams. He is not some elite quarterback
Well, and you could even tell in his response when he's like, "Yes, sir, let's be legendary."
because that's his brand, legendary 2. That's his number, and it's legendary, like plastered all over the place.
That's pretty
Like, he's
douchey.
such a douchebag.
Why do you have to troll him? Isn't him sitting through rounds of the draft not getting picked enough?
But also, do you ever have enough money? Do you ever have a big enough penis? Like, can you ever troll Sanders hard enough? I don't think you can.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so good.
That kid isn't.
All right. Well, Saturday night in Vancouver, this is very, very disturbing. During the Lapu Lapu Day Festival, which is a celebration of Filipino heritage, a 30-year-old man drove an SUV into a crowd. 11 people killed, including a 5-year-old. More than 20 were injured. Witnesses say the driver was going about 60 miles an hour straight into the crowd. Some brave bystanders tackled him when he tried to run, and police arrested him on the scene. Authorities made it clear that this wasn't terrorism, but they did mention that the man had a history of mental health issues and past run-ins with the law. But it feels like terrorism.
Yeah, where do you
Yeah.
draw that line?
Yeah, exactly.
He was on the radar.
If it wasn't politically motivated, right?
Yeah, I guess so, but it
Like,
feels,
it's terror.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's terrorizing.
Murder.
terroristic.
Yeah.
And it sucks that they already knew him.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Oh, you again. And we have, you remember on January 29th, that horrible crash at Reagan International Airport with the Black Hawk helicopter?
American Airlines plane.
Yeah, we have more information on that. So apparently the helicopter failed to follow a crucial command from her instructor just 15 seconds before colliding with the American Airlines plane. So that oversight combined with radio communication errors is what caused the crew to mishear vital instructions from air traffic control. That contributed to the crash that killed 67 people, made it the deadliest U.S. air disaster since 2001. The investigators also found discrepancies in altitude readings and noted that the helicopter's tracking technology was turned off, which is apparently standard in simulated missions. So the NTSB is still investigating.
Yeah, so I had a flight lesson yesterday, and I heard some pilot get chewed out by air traffic control because he was calling for takeoff clearance, and the controller didn't give it to him, and the pilot responded with, whatever his tail number was, clear for takeoff, and the tower guy chimed in immediately and goes, "Excuse me, sir." He goes, "That is, I understand what you wanted to hear, but that was not the instruction you were given." And he of course, every pilot on the channel is hearing all this. This guy is just getting his ass kicked by the
hot tea.
by the ATC. No, because there was another plane on approach, and so if he would have gone onto the runway, like, dude,
That could have been a disaster.
yeah, you got to pay attention, man.
So do you think he just wasn't listening, or he was
Yeah, he
trying to
wasn't
big
listening.
time the guy?
No, he wasn't listening.
what
He
an
wasn't
egg.
paying attention. But like, dude, this is one of the most
Yeah.
crucial parts.
But I want to take off.
It's like, I understand that's what you wanted to hear,
Right.
But that's not the instruction you were given. And this guy's yelling. It was great.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's like that Harrison Ford audio when he slammed into the golf course.
Yep.
And Wrexham AFC, the soccer team owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney, they just made history by moving up to the championship, which is right below the Premier League. This is the first time the team has reached this level since the early 80s. Since the new owners took over in 2021, team's gotten a lot better, thanks to great players like Paul Mullen, Sam Smith, and the popularity from the Welcome to Wrexham TV show, which I have not checked out, but I hear it's great.
It's a great show about like how they build up the team, and they explain everything on all the different levels.
I was gonna say that's what I don't get.
Yeah,
like
I
soccer's
need
so
the,
confusing. Like, is there a time for this game, or can they just extend it? Like, oh well, we're going into
tomorrow.
Like the refs just decide like when the game ends. Like,
that part is still kind of dumb.
And then like by moving up to the championship, which is right below are you in the Premier League? Like,
all that stuff is so confusing.
What?
Well, it's basically like just like I don't know with the farm leagues and stuff like that with baseball where you have
right, the AAA.
Yeah, the AAA, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You just keep on leveling up. So instead of just staying in one league, if you get better and better, you get to rise up to the biggest league. It's awesome.
All right.
Well, that's what's going on, Woody.
All right. Thank you very much, Gina Grad.
Welcome.
Little follow up on that person complaining about the Bloodhound Gang song.
Yeah.
Says that song is so embarrassing for public airing. Put your hands down pants and feel nuts. I hate that. So embarrassing. I used to love your station. Just hate stuff like that.
It's too risque.
How are you listening to this show?
Yeah, what's happening?
Well, we're going to go put our hands down our pants and maybe feel nuts. And then we'll be back. More Woody shows next.
More of The Woody Show.
Hell rule.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
We'll be right back. Alt 98.7. LA's new alternative.